And of course, because this is Vorion's first match, a little bit less on the line, but you still want to secure that win and hopefully a knockout if it's in your control at all.
The cage side ref, the weapon on four-letter word is not working, but because they've already tested the weapon as it went into the box, they have to fight.
Wow.
So floor letter word in a do or die situation has to go on against Vorion, one of the most dangerous vertical spinners in 30-pound weight class, but without its horizontal weapon.
Oh, and some big hits already from Vorion. It's not out of the question that floor letter word could really muscle Vorion around, try and use its butt to control and wedge it and push it around, but we're gonna have to see a little bit more aggressive driving if that were to happen. And I don't know if floor letter word has a lot of that pushing power needed to get it done. Vorion already pushing it against the side rail. Floor letter word looking worse for wear. Not seeing a lot of movement.
Floor letter word gonna get a nudge from the house bot, see if it can kind of unstick it there from the side rail so that this match can resume.
Not seeing a lot of life left in this robot. The house bot Flo desperately trying to force some life into it. I'm not sure it's going to happen here.
It's doing full-on CPR right now.
Housebot CPR.
Live, Floor, live!
All right, I'm hearing a count out here.
It sounds like the countdown. That will mean, unless a miracle happens, floor letter word is out. Vorion goes to 1-0 by knockout.
And it just started to move a little bit, but too little, too late. Brandon looking so calm and collected.
3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
I know that Ray was still experiencing some teething issues with Disinformation. Let's see if he got them figured out. But right now we're seeing some big hits and a little bit of control here from Vorion right off the bat.
Now either way, both of these bots will advance to the knockout stage. Wow! So both these bots will advance to the knockout stage unless they both just obliterate each other.
Looks like Disinformation on one hand having some issues with the drive side, Vorion having issues self-righting itself. We've seen a lot of one-hit, big hit scenarios that just kind of left the other robot a little bit stunned.
Brandon calls in his one unstick from Fluffy, who's not the most nimble house bot, and is desperately trying to flip. There we go. Vorion back on its feet. Very mobile and still a very active weapon.
Wow.
And there's the belt off of Disinformation, or was that Vorion? I don't even know.
Both weapons are down. Both are spinning. Their drive affected.
Wow.
And Johnny with the mini-bot still able to pursue Vorion. Now he's on his head.
It's all on you now, Johnny Bahama.
Very limited mobility from both of these bots. Weapons are down. Johnny going flying. And now for the next minute and 10 seconds, it's going to be a lot of very crooked pursuing.
This is the synchronized swimming portion of the night.
It's a very choreographed dance. This is
On paper, it's a fascinating story of tip speed on Vorion and just the sheer mass and energy stored in that big drum on Disinformation. It's probably why we saw a couple of those absolutely cataclysmic exchanges at the beginning of this match.
Suddenly, Vorion has stopped. Oh! Saw a little bit of premature
It
celebration
gives a
from
little
Ray and
nudge
Johnny.
to Disinfo, who is now also showing
What?
again. Oh my goodness!
What?
There's life in Vorion! Oh!
Oh, wow.
10 seconds left in the match!
What happened?
I don't know, but in the
can it
eyes of
move?
the judges, they are going to be very happy to see that his weapon is going again, because that's going to make their jobs a bit easier. Johnny doing a good job of getting those forks under Vorion at the end, stopping any advances from hitting Disinformation again.
Wow. All right. So, what an image to end on. Your weapon suddenly comes back in the last 15 seconds, full force, full power, but then unclear. Did he lose his drive, or did Johnny was he able to high center him on the mini bot? Brandon Bennett Young this year, while Huge, Jonathan said this exact version of Huge is several years old.
Yeah, it's kind of
5,
amazing
4,
the
3,
longevity
2,
of this design.
Fight, robots,
Jonathan has been working very hard. It took a lot of big design revisions before we got to the point where it's just about testing, tuning, and fine-tuning. Oh my, Vorion stuck up against the wall very early in the fight. Not a good place to be. Huge, I think, can deliver a big hit here.
They backed off just a little
They
bit,
did.
trying to give Vorion
Oh, the
space.
weapon belt is down on Huge.
What is
They
the
are
last-
weaponless right now and will remain weaponless for this fight.
When is the last time you've even seen that happen? I can't. It's been a while.
This is a terrible place for Huge to be from. Like, they are not a robot conducive to getting control
No.
or aggression points when their weapon is down.
Brandon now probably having the confidence to bully Huge around a little bit more. It doesn't need to be careful about avoiding that weapon.
No, now it can just kind of go into the center of the robot, tear at the wheels, control the robot. You can see that kind of creepy finger lifting off the top of Vorion. That is very clearly meant to reach there into Huge and be able to pull it around the arena. And seems to be able to do it fairly successfully. What an unfortunate turn of events for Jonathan Schultz.
Yeah. But, this might be an opportunity to retire this frame, maybe make some upgrades, although I think Jonathan has really pushed this design so far. I don't know where else he can take it. It could just be a bad matchup. But I know after the November championships, Brandon was a little bit disappointed. He wanted to go farther in the tournament, and this is just him pulling off a masterclass. After the November finals were just a couple weeks ago, so a lot of these builders are looking for redemption. They are looking for revenge.
At the same time, a lot of these builders are looking for a rest.
Yes.
And so are their robots. I mean, I can't tell you the number of these robots that are still carrying the battle stars of finals.
Oh, yeah.
There is a tremendous amount of damage and repaired damage on these robots. And absolutely showing that in their performance throughout the day.
Well, the good news is none of these robots are eligible to fight in January. That is a new bot event only.
Yeah, that might
4
be
seconds left here.
new bot event. That sounds appealing, Lindsay.
Appealing?
Yeah, I could see why someone might want to show up for that with a new robot.
Would you have any interest, hypothetically?
In theory, driving from Brandon in order to really deliver a killing blow that he needs here.
Absolutely. This is a tough matchup for him, but there are
5,
avenues to win.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots,
And away we go. Vorion up to speed.
The speed on Knockoff White, despite not having traditional wheels, is really impressive.
They are being very conservative with that hammer.
And Vorion doing a fantastic job pinning Knockoff White, even just briefly.
Yeah, shows a surprise. Oh, big hit there.
Wow. In terms of pushing power, I'm really impressed by what Vorion is bringing to the table.
Yeah, at this point in NHRL's history, you do not bring a robot incapable of pushing around something heavier than you.
It was able to get some nasty little hits on the underbelly there of Knockoff White, and now it is shredding parts off the side.
Yeah, those shuffler paws on the side of Knockoff White are starting to look a little worse for wear.
Wow, that is a big hit, though, from Knockoff White.
That is, and it is lodged in there, Lindsay.
Now, that is the danger of this weapon that we've seen from time to time. But there it goes. It's able to free itself. Vorion taking this opportunity to get some hits right back on it.
Yeah, there are just a tremendous amount of tiny plastic chunks being pulled off of Knockoff White. So far, though, none of those plastic chunks seem critical to its function.
No, and that is so much of what we've come to expect from Knockoff White, where you'll see parts fly, but it's almost ablative. It's not really there for, mechanical purpose, but Vorion is absolutely bullying Knockoff White around.
Yes, this is incredible. You don't see Vorion as a control robot that often, but boy, is it doing a wonderful job of it tonight.
Yeah,
pushing Knockoff White wherever it wants.
This is really elevating Vorion in what I already held in very high esteem, but to see it control a control bot is very impressive.
Yeah, and let's see here. Is that weapon slowed down on Vorion, though?
It does not appear to be running. Unsure if he is just taking a break from it or it has had some critical damage.
It's hard to say, but they are doing exceptionally well with control and aggression. Oh, that is a right side drive issue now on Vorion. I don't think that robot expected to be pushing around quite so much weight for so much of the match. Still, even with limited drive.
Wow, with just 20 seconds left here, it's just limping to the finish for both of these robots.
Yeah, however, the left side drive on Knockoff White also appears to be non-functional, or rather less functional than it started the match.
But its weapon is working, and I have not seen it come back on Vorion. That may be a decisive factor.
Very well could be, as this goes to the judges. You'll also notice the mini-bot there for Knockoff White was decapitated. It was incapacitated.
That counts
early in
as
the match.
damage.
That counts as damage. That is a major factor in the eyes of the judges. Very, very close. There's a slight edge, I think a 52%. Oh, interesting. Vorion has completely defied that internet poll.
Look how close those scores are. By 1 point, and most of them, just a couple points in the third. Wow, and that reflects the YouTube poll where 52% actually thought it went to Knockoff White.
Right.
But you can see how so close, it's hard to...
Very close split decision. Push the limits as possible, and that is the spirit of being as flexible as possible with safety, as long as we don't compromise the safety of, our spectators, our arenas. Well, the arenas we can deal with. We don't mind arena damage. We're willing to deal with that, but...
Well, here we go. This is the match for the 30-pound bracket. This determines all the marbles. Red Storm right out of the gate. Oh, Vorion also had some success getting under Red Storm there, but wow, huge hit.
It only takes a couple of hits like that for Brandon to do a death stroke on Red Storm. He's got 2 hits in. Can he get 2 or 3 more?
That's the thing with a nasty vertical spinner like that. It only sometimes takes a couple hits for your bot to get wrecked. This is a sparring match if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, very, very tactical driving. As good of a driver as Kevin is, Brandon is incredibly tactical. He's going to play to his own strengths, and that's what you see here. He's not really trying to outmaneuver Red Storm. He's just trying to not give up any ground.
And And he has them here in his clutches. The reach of that weapon, not quite enough to get on those forks.
Oh, that is a huge hit, Lindsay. That is a tremendous over and over. What a combo.
The enthusiasm I'm hearing from the crowd is infectious.
Oh, I see some drive issues are starting to mount on Red Storm. The damage is starting to add up.
Red Storm trying to suplex, but Vorion just able to get an angle where it can't really reach it. Now leaving it on the rail, kind of just to fester on its own.
Yeah, it's working its best. You can see a wheel is missing from Red Storm, laying on the ground.
It's still very mobile, and as long as it's mobile, it's dangerous. But Vorion already being able to add some incredible damage onto Red Storm.
This is very impressive, folks.
Red Storm has not been able to land.
Oh my, Lindsay.
Ricky, what's happening here?
Vorion has stopped moving.
Oh, thank goodness it is on its merry way. You never want to see a fight end because of a reason like that.
No, but
here we get that suplex.
Red Storm's revenge has come into play, and the weapon is now down on Vorion. Oh, I spoke too soon. It's spinning back up. Those are intermittent issues you're seeing on Vorion. That robot needs to win and win quickly, or it may be down for the count.
It looks like in this last 30 seconds or so, Red Storm has kind of changed the tide here. It's very quiet now with only 7 seconds left. Vorion needs to demonstrate that it's still running.
Yeah, it appears to be, but it is definitely intermittent.
Ricky, that was a match that went back and forth.
Vorion across the board. 10, 12, and 12. A unanimous judge's decision and not particularly close. In fact, I'll say the crowd on YouTube about dead on.
What a special moment here.
Brandon pleased as punch.
I think he even looked a little bit surprised. And himself.
Brandon Bennett Young, 30-pound All-Star! Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
Tell us about the day. Tell us about the event. How did you pull it off?
So the key is that I made a lot of spares for Vorion. I knew he was going to get beaten up. I have really good robots I have to fight. When I saw my bracket, I thought, well, that's over. And so I got a little further in the day, and I sort of thought, okay, there's a chance. I sort of was able to get over huge, to knock off White, and I thought, okay, now there's a really good chance. And with Kevin, I was even more scared because he's been improving all year long. I'm terrified that he would have gotten me last time, but he did it.
Things got a little dicey there at the end. We didn't know which way it was going to go. He was going to start playing the grappling game, but you actually outdrove the 2023 Driver of the Year. How did you do that?
Well, the answer is very simple. Physics. So the whole time I was driving with Vorion, I kept the power down because I have a lot more power to go. But I knew if I got too loose, he would get me. So I made it a control match. And if it's a control match and I can hit him really hard, that'll do it.
Brandon Bennett Young, you are an all-star. Vorion, you are an all-star. Let's hear it for Brandon.
Thank you, Chris. That is incredible. What joy on Brandon's face.
It's infectious. I feel a little emotional myself.
I do.